Hello and welcome to the Final Frontiersman. This is a show about all things Star Trek. My name is Jeremy,
And I'm Bill.
and we are here to talk about Strange New Worlds, Episode 5 of Season 1, Spock Amok.
Hmm. It's a good one.
It is. That was fun. It was a really fun episode. Tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about what happened in Spock Amok, Bill.
sure. Very quick overview of what happened. The episode starts with the Enterprise docking at Starbase One for repairs after the last episode when they were attacked by the Gorn. And this allows the crew to have some shore leave that most of them take advantage of. Spock is having a little bit of inner turmoil as his subconscious mind worries about his human half getting in the way of his marriage, and it manifests itself as he's preparing to reunite with his wife to Pring. Aside from this, Admiral April now tasks Captain Pike to negotiate with a new group of aliens called the Rondovians. It's a society that occupies the space between Klingon and Romulans. So having them on the side of the Federation would be very useful, but they are not very easy to get along with from what Starfleet has seen so far. And it seems to be the case when they charge in and start the negotiations immediately. Meanwhile, while this is all happening, Laon Noonien Singh and Number One, uh, she learns that she has a very unflattering nickname as they stay behind on the Enterprise to do work. And it's there that they discover that there's a series of challenges devised by the lower decks of the ship known as Enterprise Bingo. So hijinks ensue as we get a lot of fun pairings with different crew members and even a good old fashioned body swap in this highly comedic episode.
Yeah, the whole episode was just fun.
Yeah,
I was expecting it to be about one thing, turned out to be
yeah.
another. So at this point, I guess we're going to move into our review of the
Yes.
episode and talk about things we enjoyed, things we
Mm.
didn't like. Which this is not going to be one of those. I didn't find a ton that I just didn't really care about.
No, no, not at all.
How our reviews work, just a quick overview. If we find something in this episode that we really just love, this is everything that we enjoy, that is going to show up as a red alert, and we will call that out. If it is something that we find is foreshadowing, something we need to look forward to later on, we're going to refer to that as a yellow alerts. And if it is going to break time and space as we know it and change canon and
Mm.
whatever else. That is going to be our black alerts. Okay? And Bill, what have you got for us to start with?
Well, I want to start off with just the opening scene with Spock on Vulcan, which turns out to be a dream sequence later. But oh my God, Jeremy hit it. This is Red Alert number one. This
Red
is the
alert number
episode
one.
starts with Red Alert. The okay, well, the imagery was like a TOS original series set, but just ramped up for modern special effects, modern set design.
I agree.
And then what really earns it the red alert? The music.
Yes,
The music
you
cue.
took out half my notes.
When I just have to say, this opening scene had me smiling from the get go. And when I heard that music, I'm like, this is going to be an awesome episode.
Yes.
So, yeah, Red Alert, this thing just knocked it out of the park
Absolutely.
from the start.
Yes.
That was just a great scene. And I mean, it was deep too, story wise. Seeing Spock have that same fight, the fight to the death. What was it? Was it called the Caliphie? Is that right?
I did.
The
You got me on
challenge.
that one. I believe.
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
my Vulcan's rusty.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but it starts with that fight of Spock's Vulcan side fighting his human side, and just so fun. It was so good. Yeah.
Vulcan looked incredible. It really did.
Yes.
It reminded me of the motion picture. I recently saw the motion picture in theaters, and it takes us to that scene of Spock doing the whole Cullinar bit, and it just the the uniforms or the
Mm.
the costumes. I apologize.
Yeah.
Were just fantastic.
The thing was
Absolutely
amazing.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Everything was good. Yeah, it was all good.
Yeah.
And I want to take one little step even before that, and I want to give a call out
Oh.
to one thing that I've been really enjoying. When you watch a something on Disney Plus as far as Star Wars is concerned, they've got that little
Mhm.
opening bit with it shows like the faces of different characters, and
Mhm.
that's like the opening Star Wars. Like this is current Disney Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Trek has one now. If you've noticed that there where it opens up and it's got the Enterprise flying and it flies in a delta. I am
Oh yeah.
very much enjoying that right there. I
Oh
just
yeah,
wanted to give
yeah,
a shout out to
yeah.
that.
That's good. No, yeah,
I just
definitely.
like that's nice. That's a nice little touch there, and and I feel like
Yeah,
we're going to see that in the future. But
yeah.
wanted to take a
No,
step
that's
back
good.
behind that.
Definitely, yeah, definitely, yeah. Point that out. That is a
Yeah.
great touch that they add to it.
But
Yeah,
yeah, Vulcan, I got to brag on that. That was really really good stuff.
yeah.
Um, and then later on in the episode, we
Mm.
move into this is probably going to be a little bit more to it, but I'm going to call it. This is one of my red alerts as well. There's going to be
Oh
similar
wow.
off of one of yours, and that is going to be we see Pike in Kirk's. Bro,
Yeah, yeah.
I squealed when I saw that. I thought that
That green
was
tunic. Yeah.
so well done, and it looked believable for the for
Mm.
the aesthetic of the show,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all that stuff right there. I really really enjoyed seeing that. So I'm looking forward to seeing other little things in the background. It's like, hey, that came back.
Yeah, yeah. Those are fun things to see, and like
Mm,
that style, like clearly, that was something Captains wore
yes,
back at the
it
time.
is.
And yeah, like you said, they have it brought up to a modern design because
Right.
it's a new aesthetic for this new series.
It
It's not
is.
copying the TOS. So when Enterprise did it in their Mirror Universe episode, they used basically the same style as the TOS because they're using the same set design. But I
Exactly.
think this fit perfectly. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm with you on that.
It did very, very, very well.
Yeah,
Yes. Hmm.
that's definitely a good red alert. I'll give you that. Uh, now, I just want to bring up another point. This is an alert.
Okay.
One thing I want to bring up. I mentioned in the summary, but I didn't give it away.
Hmm.
Just the overview where number one learns that she has an unflattering nickname amongst the crew, and it's actually Dr. Mbenga that accidentally slips and gives it away.
Yes.
But her nickname is Where Fun Goes to Die. And I just thought that was like the look on her face when she heard that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it kind of reminded me of like Marge Simpson, where she's like, I'm cool, like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, why do people think
Why do
this
people
about
think
me?
this? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was a good.
Yeah.
That was a whole.
Yeah.
That whole bit was really really good.
I mean, the whole episode, I'm just going to say right now, this is probably one of the most fun episodes of Star Trek I've seen ever.
Hmm.
And like again, Strange New Worlds is just continuing this quality episode by episode. We just come
Yes.
off of a huge dramatic and very dangerous episode with the Gorn,
Right.
and they follow it up with this way to just let us relieve our tension,
Right.
and I loved it. Yeah.
They really pull us back down, and it gives me something that I always will love to see because it's you see it, but it's rare. It's day to day life on a
Mhm.
starship, and
Yeah.
that's what I want to see. These
Yeah.
guys are on shore leave. These guys are doing research on the crew,
Mm.
so to speak, and then you got the ensigns doing ensign stuff.
Ensign's doing ensign stuff. Yeah.
Ensign
It
stuff.
was almost a lower decks crossover with
Absolutely.
this.
A little
And
bit, yeah.
yeah, and I think I'm going to mention that later on there. But like
Hmm.
if I can, I mean this far more than last episode. I want to throw into another red alert if I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean we're I'm plugging away because like I said, there's so much I loved
There's
about
so
this
much.
episode.
Yes.
So the next red alert is the pairing of number one and Lon.
Yes.
They were so good
Yes.
together
They were.
in this whole
Yes.
episode.
Looking forward to more of them together.
Yeah,
Yes.
just so
Absolutely.
fun watching them because they're kind of the two um uptight members of the crew,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and then seeing them with this not really free time, but they're forcing themselves into free time
Yes.
and trying to understand how people have fun when they're not busy. And I work with people like this, so it was really fun for me to
Yes.
watch this. Like, oh, would this be what, like, if so and so actually attempted to have fun in
Right.
their life,
Exactly.
would it look
Yes.
like this? Yeah, so it was that, just the whole thing. It starts with them questioning, like, why are the crew, what they're fun, we're fun, right? Why do people think we're not fun?
Yes.
Then going into like buddy cop mode when they're busting some ensigns breaking the rules, and then going into just like a spring break movie where they're
Yes.
trying to understand what's driving the ensigns to act so insubordinate just for having fun. So
Right.
it was great. Yeah.
That the scene when Laan was just dressing down that ensign, just
Yeah.
tearing that
Yeah.
poor girl apart, right?
Yeah.
And then we would switch over to Una, and they're having coffee,
Yeah.
just loud on. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm
Good
fine.
cop, bad cop
Yeah,
there. Like,
I'm
and
fine.
they both pulled the information out of him in their
Yeah,
own way.
in very different
But
ways. Yeah,
yeah,
it was good. It was
that
really
was
good. But
yeah, I
I'm
like that.
going to call a very small yellow alert, something to look
Ooh,
forward to. Hopefully, we'll
yeah.
see in a future episode of
Mm-hmm.
Lower Decks. I would love to
Mm.
see the Lower Deckers playing Cerritos Bingo. I would
Yeah,
really love to
yeah,
see
yeah,
that. That would be a fun little thing for them to touch. We may not see it the next season, but the following season, I bet we'll see something, unless
that
there's been some discussions between
oh,
writers. But
that would be perfect for that show, and that, I mean, that would
I
be an
would love it.
entire episode.
Absolutely love it.
But yeah, that Enterprise bingo that the ensigns were playing, that was just so fun. And again, we are Star Trek Adventures role playing game players.
Yes.
Actually, our next episode that's coming up is kind of a downtime episode. I can't really say much more because Jeremy's a player and I don't want to
Oh
give stuff
yeah.
away, but everyone already knows it's a downtime episode. And I was thinking, like, oh, how great would this have been if this episode was a bit earlier and people
Yes.
were more familiar with it, and think like maybe these ideas would be coming out in that episode. But this is like a
Absolutely.
fun thing you could just squeeze into the role-playing game. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. I'm going to speak on the aliens, and I
Mm.
apologize. I'm terrible. When I see an alien for the first time, it takes me at least 10 episodes to get their names.
Oh yeah.
But the new aliens that we're in diplomatic negotiations with, I made a comment when I was watching it that they have a classic Trek aesthetic, right? They
Mm.
just look. If they had shown up on Deep Space Nine or TNG Voyager, I would have believed it. And I
Yeah.
like that. I just like the way that they keep it that humanoid but
Mm.
alien look. I was
Yeah.
really happy with that, so I wanted to call that out and say that was really
Yeah, and
really
it's
well done
not
as
too
well.
over the top. It
Mm-hmm.
fits the timeline of this show. I mean, it really even,
Mm-hmm.
of course, there's differences. There's slight breaks in canon, but again, every single Star Trek has that too, to
Absolutely.
adapt it to the style.
Mm-hmm.
But this feels like these are the kinds of aliens you would see in the original series. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm maybe jumping ahead in my
Oh,
notes
it's
for a
fine.
bit,
Go ahead.
but you brought up the aliens. I believe they're called the
The
Rondovians, but I
Yes.
wrote it down in like 5 different spellings in my notes because I don't know who they are. But I really like their gimmick too,
Mm-hmm.
as a society, the empathy, how it's not, they look like they're mimicking the people that they are talking with. That
Right.
like they're taking their emotional state. So
Mm-hmm.
when they were with the Tellarites, they're very belligerent in their face, argumentative. When they were with Pike, they were very like warm, welcoming, just friendly. When they were Spock, like cold, logical, questioning.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that the resolution at the end isn't that, oh, they're just mimicking people.
Yes.
It's their thing. They are so empathetic. They want to view the other side's point of view. They want to see things from how the other side wants to see it. And likewise, that's exactly what they were hoping for. And Pike realizes it at the end. They wanted to be understood, and
Yes.
their point of view acknowledged as a valid point of view. So they wanted their feelings to be recognized. And I thought that was such a really nice, subtle, but clever way of doing a new alien society and culture.
It was, and it just really showed what Star Trek. This is the Star Trek that we've always been told exists. The Starfleet.
Yeah.
This is negotiations, sitting down, and all that. That is classic. Every bit of that was classic.
Yeah. In a clever way too. I really loved it.
Right.
Yeah.
When I said that I thought that this episode was going to go in one direction and went another direction. I thought this was going to be a Pon farr episode when I was reading
me too.
a bit of it. So I don't know if that was intentional to mislead us.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be a body swap. And
Body swap.
I will tell you, initially when I found out that Spock and T'Pring had switched bodies, I did a slight eye roll. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
But
Yeah.
then I do what I always try to make myself do and pull myself back and say, have fun with it. It's not that serious. And I'm glad I did that because it turned out to be so good. Watching them try two Vulcans body switching. That is wow. That was,
and they have
that
to
was
do
fun.
each other's job
Absolutely. Yeah.
as the other person. But I want to just add on to what you said. I had the same thing when they did the body swap. Again, my first thought, cynical thought, is like, really, is this what we're doing? But then I'm thinking, no, this is exactly the kind of thing you would see in TOS. This is the kind of thing that it's not really serious. It's not really a heavy, deep, dramatic thing, but it's one of those alien type things that would just pop up in TOS that you just roll with because it's TOS.
Absolutely.
And like you said, when you do that, it was so fun to watch and enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah. Let yourself have fun. It's okay to have fun.
Can I bring up one more thing about the body swap? I put in my notes here. When they finally told Pike, I loved his reaction to it. When they're trying to play it off at first and they're like, we really need to tell, and they tell him like we swap bodies. He looks at him, he's like, get out of town.
Right.
and then to bring in Spock's body, her response was perfect. She's like, we're not in a town.
We're not in a town. Except that literal Vulcan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, get out of town. She's like, we're not in a town.
Yeah. And it doesn't take a whole lot of convincing either. He's like, well, okay, here we are. So y'all gonna have to figure this out.
Yeah. Just his laugh. He looks at them for like a long second, and then he just laughs, and he's like, "Are you for real? Like, is this what's happening?" But then he accepts it because, like, of course, this happened. Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yes. So then, as the episode's going on, I want to say this happened actually slightly before the body swap, and it's going to be a yellow alert for me. And it's something that we're going to be looking for, and that is going to be when Nurse Chapel was giving Spock advice. She was definitely crushing on him pretty hard. And go back into the original series, especially the animated series, where she was all about Spock, right?
Oh yeah.
And I like that we get to see the beginnings of that now, and I want to look forward to seeing that grow as the series moves forward. I'm just going to continue watching for little things like that to see how she reacts to him and that.
Yeah. And first, I just want to say you stole my only yellow alert. So that was it too. That was it. And the last scene too, where she's talking about what's her name again? Ortegas? Is that right?
Erica Ortegas. Yes.
That's who she was talking to, right? So she was talking to her about like her poor luck in romance, and it seemed like she was going to say that there is something. You could see she's thinking that there is someone there, and like the thought is, it's Spock. You know, that's why she won't admit it. Like there
Yes.
is that someone that's still on her mind. So yeah, that's my yellow alert for the
Good.
episode too. Like
Okay.
watch for that in the future. This might give a little more credence to what the hints we got
Right.
in the original series. Yeah.
I had a lot of fun watching Pike do the gamble toward the end of the episode as well. Like when the way he talked to those aliens.
Mhm.
I understand how Admiral April felt when they said,
Yeah.
"So why should we join the Federation?" You shouldn't. We're
Yeah.
no reason to.
Yeah. And he points out like all the worries that they had, and
Yeah,
again that because
absolutely.
they want to be understood, and when they saw Pike did understand the
Yes.
apprehensions they have, I mean that's what convinced them that okay, these are people that will be able to see things from our point of view, that they will be able to understand us. Their multicultural federation is something that we could be part of, and be our own original selves too. We all have our voice in it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because it really it turns into it gives me a lot to think about. As I recall through Star Trek, well, as much all that I've seen, everybody wants to be in the Federation, right? For the most part, everybody does. But then it also puts a different point of view on it. It's like, do you really want to join the Federation?
Yeah.
Like, because the line about our enemies become your enemies at that
Mm-hmm.
point.
Yeah.
The one of the best things you're going to get is guaranteed protection. I guess.
Yeah.
If we have a
Yeah.
ship in the area.
Yeah. He said like, yeah, there's mutual protection, but
Mm,
honestly, the reason why you'll have enemies is because you're joining us.
yeah,
So the reason why
absolutely.
you'll need protection
Right.
from us is because you decide to join us. So I
Absolutely.
mean, he was being very
Yeah,
honest. Yeah.
it put a really fun look at it, and I always enjoy things like that personally, as I like
Mm.
to look at things from multiple angles
Yeah.
and all that. Is there anything else that you had for it?
Uh, No, I mean we basically covered the big points in my notes. There are just two small, like nagging little issues, that negative points
Okay,
I had for this episode, and
go
I
for it.
don't really want to go into negative, and they're not really negative,
Mm-hmm.
but two little things that disappointed me. Was as great an episode as it was, I still don't feel like we're really getting to see Dr. Mbenga and Ortegas very much. I mean,
Okay.
this episode in particular, they didn't
Mm-hmm.
really have their own plot line. They had like a couple just side moments supporting the other groups.
Right.
But I felt in most of the episodes, like we still don't get to see these two shine as much as we see everyone else shine.
Okay.
Like Uhura was pulled back a lot in this episode as well. But I mean, she's had a lot of really strong scenes and moments up until this. And
Mm-hmm.
the second point I want to bring up is just it's been two episodes since we've learned about Dr. Mbenga's daughter,
Right.
and they haven't brought it up again. And in the last episode, with like power going out and he needs to keep her alive inside the transporter, it would be nice if there was a comment. And then this episode again, they actually used the transporter in the medical bay, in the sick bay, when Una and Lam were doing the Enterprise bingo.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same transporter that his daughter is
It's
pattern is
actually
kept in the
in.
buffer.
Right.
And like Una knows this, right?
Mm-hmm. I do
She's
believe
the
she
only one
does.
that knows it, right? Is that
I believe
Was
so.
she the one? So, but it's like it's weird that they'd be playing with that and still no mention of that. So, I
Right.
really hope, that they're not forgetting it, and there's
Right.
going to be time for those two characters to shine. Yeah. So
Right.
those are my only two little gripes about the episode. So sorry.
The and I can another point of view for that because I hear you. I know what you're saying, but I still think that it's what we're doing is we're going back to classic Trek. I almost think that we've been trained to these days have TV is going to be like a season is going to have a mass story arc and it goes from point A
Mm,
to point B and we know these characters and we know where they're at, what they're doing, and this is more like TNG era, DS9 era. This was a Spock episode with
Mhm.
a B storyline of Una and La'an. We've
Mhm.
had previous episodes where Uhura was the focus
Mhm.
and that sort of thing when all the other characters were in the background. I hear you. I want to see a lot more of Erica Ortega's, and I want to
Yeah.
see a lot more. I want to see a lot more of Himmer. I don't even think Himmer was in this episode.
I don't
Um,
even remember seeing him at
I don't
all.
recall
No.
seeing him. And so, and honestly, I want to say I'm okay with that because episode 6 may be nothing but Erica
Yeah.
Ortega's. And then
Yeah.
we'll go into episode 7, and it's going to be a big Hammer episode with a focus of Pike, with a B story of Pike and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think
I'd be
we'll run
fine
back.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're going to see, though. We're going to see that. And I'm going to end in my notes at the very end
Mhm.
is I want to make a slight call out to the aliens when we seen them raise the Federation
Oh yeah. Yeah.
flag
Yeah.
and they were using the solar sails.
Oh yeah.
That was
Yeah.
so good. That was really, really good. I love seeing. That gives me that sense of the Federation and all these different alien races and stuff all coming
Yeah. It's so
together.
different looking. It kind of harkens back to the Bajoran solar cell, like the old one that
Right.
Cisco and Jake used to traverse from Bajor to Cardassian space or whatever it was.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was fun to see because it's not really a design you see much in Star
It's
Trek, and
not. No, but it was
this is
fun.
an alien group,
Right.
and these are their alien ships. So yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So that's going to wrap my notes up unless you have any
Yep.
more.
No, no,
All
that's
right.
all. We basically covered the big points. I got a ton more notes, but yeah, we covered the points I want to talk
Cover
about.
all
Yeah,
the big points. Okay.
yeah,
But guys, we really appreciate you watching. Please like the video, comment, tell us what you like about it, tell us what you don't like
yeah.
about it. We'd love to hear from our fans too. If you guys have any questions, anything you'd like to hear us answer, please let us know. We'd love to do that.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
Available if you have our socials.
Yeah, like Jeremy said, comment here, or if you prefer to just send us a message on any of the social medias we're on, it's under the Final FM. And yeah, we if you send a message, we're definitely going to talk back
Yeah,
to you because
absolutely.
we want to discuss Trek with fellow
Yeah.
fans. So that's what it's all about.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you stopping in and live long and prosper.
I'm going to get
You're gonna
a
get
rubber
it.
band next time,
Well,
and
I'll get
I'm
you
going to.
I'll get you some tape.
There we go. Yeah. Thanks.